At 3 o'clock that afternoon, I got a frantic phone call from Dottie crying that something had happened to Eric. He had turned blue and the ambulance was there now. I was the first one on site at the hospital, and when I went to the desk, I had a nun at my elbow and a priest, and they asked if I was the parent, and right away I was afraid something was really horribly wrong. And my husband was saying to me, this doesn't look good. We have to prepare ourselves. And shortly thereafter, they came in and said that he had passed away. I received a job offer. I contacted her to watch Eric, and she was unlicensed, but because she was a friend of mine, she'd done a baby shower, I had enormous trust in her. She said she had shook him and his head had hit the floor. We found out later he died from a 5.5-inch skull fracture. And when I talked to the coroner, she told me that that to get an injury of that severe, it would be the equivalent of her shaking him violently with his head hitting the floor or an object for at least 2 minutes to get a fracture of that type. So she got 3 to 6 years in prison, and she ended up serving 3.5 years, which was really a victory because in 1986 it was very rare for, first of all, a charge to be brought against a daycare provider, much less a conviction and a sentence. We were brought to Washington in March of 1988, and we brought along our year-old son, Kevin, and we testified before the Senate committee that included Senator Dodd, who had brought the Act for Better Child Care bill before Senate, Senator Kennedy, Senator Hatch was there. We also had Phyllis Schlafly protesting outside on the Capitol steps with her baby buggy brigade, and she was saying we don't want federal government, making decisions for parents. We weren't advocating the government making decisions. What we were advocating for was safe, quality daycare to be available for parents. We wanted people to be educated. We wanted to be treated as a business. We wanted them to have fingerprinting, and we wanted them to have basic minimum training in CPR and safety regulations. We have no registry for anyone convicted of a child care abuse situation, which is wrong. We have, if we do it for sex offenders, we need to do it for people who abuse children. And it's not because the government is overreaching and stepping into parents' rights. It's giving parents the ability to make an informed decision based upon data. And because we don't have the data, we can't go and lobby our Congress to say we need to make the change because we can't give them the proof. We can't say that this many number of children have died since 1985 to now. We don't. You have to dig for it because now it's some states have some states do require report it, but we need to have consistency across the board because without that, we are just in the dark, in my opinion.